People who no longer speak to their best friends who they thought would be in their lives forever. Why did you stop talking / being best friends? I was best friends with someone for 12 years, and we did everything together. Well, everything that she wanted. It was always about her and her schedule, never compromising for me. I went to every event she had, even her parents' anniversary dinner. One year my mother had just passed away, and I was home alone. I asked her to come over, and she said she was going to a friend's house to party because she broke up with her boyfriend. We haven't spoken to each other in probably 2 years, and I've never been happier. I got ill, regular doctor's appointments, and didn't have the energy to do lots of activities. They just stopped talking to me and blanked me when they saw me. Edit. Wow, I didn't expect so many people to have been in the same boat. I hope those of you who have been abandoned by friends through illness have managed to find better friends and make stronger relationships with others. Unfortunately, my situation made me not very trusting, and I don't form any kind of relationship easy. For those who asked, I did try to reach out to my friends, both at that time and also in the future. Unfortunately, at the time I was just blanked and ignored. If I saw them in the street or around college, they'd just look straight through me. Acquaintances and friends of friends also stopped talking to me, and I got horrible glares and looks, as if I'd been the one to do something. Naturally I was upset and hurt, but because I was ill, I just didn't have the patience to care. It turned out my best friend took a year off to work, and then came to my university, so I was starting my second year, and she was in her first year. I only found out when she graduated, and her parents put her picture in the local newspaper. A few years later my second best friend got a part-time job for the firm I work for, albeit in a different department and office. I reached out and asked if she wanted to meet for a catch-up, and she was very enthusiastic about it. I said I was free whenever, and asked for her availability. No reply. I waited a few days and thought maybe she wants me to make the plans, so I suggested a time and place. No response. This was about 5 years ago. Also, to those who asked about what I would have wanted from them, the simple answer would be just to have things carry on as normal. Basic things: reply to texts, tag me in memes, usual sleepovers, study sessions. Only difference would be, I couldn't come to anything when I had doctor/hospital appointments. We were completely inseparable through middle and high school, and had always planned to stay together through college. She didn't get into my choice schools, so, being an extremely dumb and anxious teenager, I foolishly agreed to attend a second-rate school with her instead, as not to be alone. Shortly before the start of our freshman year of college, she informed me she was no longer going to school with me, and was instead moving to New York City to live with a guy she met on the internet. She'd known this for months, but neglected to tell me until it was too late to do anything about it. Bought me a $3,000 computer setup, then the following week his parents called me to let me know he committed suicide. At the time it didn't make any sense, and was seemingly out of the blue. I had known him since elementary all up till we graduated college, and he was quite literally the best person I knew, and to be honest I looked up to him. He carried a charisma that drew people to him, but was never arrogant, one of the most if not the most selfless guy I knew, and was always considerate, inclusive of others. Handsome dude that was committed to maintaining good fitness, so it always seemed like he had his shit together. Since he happened to be a total fantasy sci-fi nerd, and funnily enough the best gamer out of us, was in great shape, and had such a humble personality, we had jokingly nicknamed him the Unicorn, for being a human being that shouldn't exist. Our first night ever drinking, he drank enough to totally black out. As he started to sober up, he started crying about how worthless he felt. First and last time he ever blacked out, and looking back afterwards he had always been methodical in how he drank. This was the only time I had seen him in such a vulnerable state, and we had all just laughed it off that night, thinking he just happened to cry while drunk. The recalling of that still makes me cringe. Makes me wonder if I ever had the right to be his best friend. If he was suffering, I had never known. I miss him. She changed completely our senior year of high school. We were the exact same person, loved the same things, got along like sisters. Then she started prepping for her freshman year of college at a southern school, and completely overhauled her life to look perfect for the sororities. She started partying, only hanging out with the cool kids, refusing to let me tag her in photos, and just became really focused on her appearance, not just physical, but how her whole life appeared to an outsider. It's like she lived her life as an Instagram model. Everything had to look perfectly perfect. We just faded out and stopped talking because I didn't fit her new life. I still think about her a lot, because we were so close, and I've never had a friend remotely as close to me as her. It hurts a lot that she just changed and left me behind, and didn't seem to care. It was a lot of things individually, but on the whole it came down to selfishness. Wall of text incoming. Moved in with one of my best friends at the time. We'd lived together in college, and we were about a year or so out from graduation and had an opportunity for a real cheap apartment. Moved in with her and her boyfriend. Very quickly it became apparent that she was gonna be treating this place as her Barbie dream house, complaining about anything I brought into the space as going against her vision, and trying to get me to throw in on the expensive furniture she wanted to buy. You could never say anything negative around her, or she'd start going on about how much negative energy you put out, and was always very quick to remind everyone how many hours she worked and how no one worked as hard as her. Constantly complaining about everything. Going out of her way to start fights because it was her way or the highway. Just generally unpleasant. Don't know how the boyfriend put up with it. I tried to just ignore it as best I could and play good time Charlie. Then she joined the MLM scam. One of those health and wellness product lines. She was pushing that down everyone's throats. Hard sell. 24/7. You couldn't escape it. Forced her boyfriend to sign up. Started taking over the living room as her workspace. That is, TV off, radio off, no talking because I have to listen to this conference call of people waxing poetic about the wonders of this scam company for the next 2 hours. We'd asked her to do it in her room if she needed space, but she said she didn't want to feel excluded, even though she was excluding herself. She had started to distance herself from me, because I was skeptical about the whole thing. Kept trying to convince me. Started guilting me. Eventually made it clear that the only way to stay friends with her was to join the thing. Stupid me, I joined the thing. It was only to save what little friendship was left, which was stupid in hindsight. I lost a lot of money. So we're nearing the end of the lease, and she's talking like she wants to renew and all this stuff. Then like 3 weeks before the time comes, she decides she's like bored with her boyfriend or something, and she just ducks off. Like straight up dips and has no contact with either of us. Turns out she's taking mental health days from work to do drugs and go cavorting around the city with one of her other friends who's been putting her up because she didn't want to be around us. She left her 2 cats with us to take care of. Her now ex was frequently away as well, with good reason though, so it fell to me. Shoveling cat shit was not something I wanted to add to my now frantic to-do list, as I was trying to secure a new place to live all of a sudden. So during all this, girl's ex-boyfriend is a much better friend than she is. Seriously, total bro. I mean the guy is going through this nasty ass breakup, and yet he's calling to check in on me because he knows I'm freaked out about suddenly having to find a house. Good kid. So the 2 of us work it out and decide we'll figure it out together. Meanwhile, suddenly girly girl shows back up because she's got to go back to work. She's acting like a total martyr. No one can complain because it's hard for everyone, okay? And this is all something that's happening to her, not something she caused herself or whatever the hell her rationale was. She just needed to do something new with her life, and we needed to be understanding. Which is fine and all, but doesn't give her free rein to be a total bitch. Obviously, we weren't too ready to be all friendly with her, but like she was all ready to hang out with us and ask for puffs off our joints and shit like that. Afterwards she asked me why I was so standoffish, and I was just like, are you kidding me? Like you pull all this crap and complain about how this place is toxic for you, and then show up and demand we try to make you feel welcome? After that I think she got it and kinda withdrew. She went back to flopping around the city until the time came to divvy things up and go. She sent me a message asking to still be friends, and I sent her a bullet pointed list of all the reasons I couldn't do that. I ran into her only once since then, and it was awkward as duck, but civil. I do have one old mutual friend who is bent on fixing our friendship, but I think I've made it pretty clear now that it won't be happening. Her ex-boyfriend and I are still buddies though. We're on like our third apartment together. Good times are had by all. TLDR, MLM friend wants to have her cake and eat it too. I got tired of the BS. After several years just realized I always felt awful about myself after leaving his and his family's presence. Our mutual friends had a saying, it's not a trip to X's house until you get criticized. From the clothes you were wearing, to how dirty your car is, just a barrage of shit. The final straw was when I was dating my now wife. We went to go hang out at his house, and he immediately pounces on my appearance, was wearing a hard hat all day, so my hair looked a little funky, then handed me a bag of aluminum cans for me to recycle and put towards my house fund, was in deep saving mode. Fortunately my wife was a good sport, but realizing what the hell this guy was trying to accomplish, embarrassing me in front of someone I'm interested in for no reason at all, walked out after that and never looked back. Cut out completely. Best friend since kindergarten. First friend I made in my new town. Freshman year of college, I was home for break, and he was over my house with another friend. I went upstairs to talk with my parents and left them downstairs in the den. When I came back I couldn't find my phone, so I checked upstairs again. Then when I gave up and came back downstairs, I noticed it poking out from under the couch. Sweet. They leave pretty soon after, and pretty soon after that I get a text from my college friend, who has the same name as the other friend that was over, saying, hey your girlfriend is pretty, but I'm not sure why you sent me a bunch of nude pics of her. I'm gonna go ahead and assume it was by accident and delete them. Turns out my friends took my phone, found my girlfriend's nudes, sent them to themselves, tried. They picked someone else with the same name, deleted the outgoing message, hid my phone, let me look for it, then planted it where it could be found. The only reason I ever found out is because my very gay friend from college was open enough to message me about it. I never talked to those other two again. I have a primal rage when I think about the pathology it takes to do something like that. They're not my people.